Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spiral Offcast. My name is Danny.
And my name is Chris.
Welcome on in. Welcome, if this is your first time, welcome to the Spiral Offcast. This is episode 10. Holy crap.
Yo, fucking double digits.
Wow.
Did we ever think we'd make it this far?
No,
Nah.
but here we are.
We did it.
That's right. We out.
And it's
we
because
back.
of you guys.
That's right. It's because of you guys. It's also because of us and our never-ending need to talk for hours on end.
Our never-ending need to constantly talk about one topic forever, and then subsequently spiral into 8 other topics, and then...
Well, yes.
Right.
There you go. That's for you guys. That's for you. Thank you. 10. Number 10.
Number 10. Get 10 likes on this video. Get 10 comments.
Hell
10,
yeah.
10 follow.
10.
Put 10 follow on the video, please.
10 follow, yes. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Doing fine on this wonderful night.
It is. It's actually cold.
Oh, it's so nice. I've just taken my jacket off today. I just realized I literally had this jacket on for 90% of our day. We've recorded, we've been out, and it's like I'm wearing jeans. I've been wearing jeans all day. I don't feel the need to fucking kill myself because of my, leg heat.
Yeah.
It feels nice. It's actually kind of chilly. It's like, wow.
It's like in a time where every day, and I don't know. I guess this might be a limited issue because a lot of people have central AC in their house and proper insulation.
Yeah.
Danny and our homes do not have AC in them.
Nope.
So during the summer times or the hot months,
Or, we live in California, so, good 75% of the time.
it's just hot as hell. And the homes just like lock the heat inside no matter how many fans or windows are open.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so rough. And we have recorded basically most of our videos this year in that level of heat.
Yeah, fun fact. But what was I think Dragon Ball podcast was the worst one, right?
No, actually, the Dragon Ball podcast was the first one we did when I got the portable AC.
Was it really?
Yeah, the one that was the worst.
Which one was the worst one?
Goblin Slayer.
Was it
That was the
Goblin
one,
Slayer?
That was the one we had no fan on. I didn't have the AC in here yet. It was literally you, me, and Eric in this room with the door closed for pretty much like a little over 2 hours.
Okay, because I thought it was Dragon Ball, because I thought by the end of Dragon Ball we're like sweating our asses off, like, oh God, help.
Oh no, we were delirious just because we had been talking about Dragon Ball
for 3 hours. Dragon Ball GT, nonetheless. If you want to know what we're talking about, go check out that video. That was episode 7? I don't remember. Perhaps.
Quick fact check.
Yeah, we're fact checking this right now.
The Core 4 archives.
Oh shit.
Oh
shit. Fuck yeah, I got it.
Number 7.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, damn.
You think I don't know my sweet child that is this podcast?
My sweet child. It's our child.
Our child.
You're like, yeah, but I have custody.
Yeah, I get visitation rights on the weekends.
But yeah, so that video was the first with the AC that I had put in our little recording area here.
Yeah.
But you guys wouldn't be able to tell because we were using the
little fancy program,
NVIDIA broadcast software, which completely cut out the background noise.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like the first test of that, but also it was so hot. Like the nights were like in the 80s. So
oh no, like lately
so
it's been so bad. But thankfully it's nice right now. We're actually recording. This is our last recording for today. We've been doing a lot today, and it's nice. It's nice right now. So
yeah, I think we're at like 60 something. In here it's a little bit warmer, but like outside of this room it's in like the 68, 65.
That's pretty good. 65, yeah.
And that is amazing.
Actually, I'm gonna check my weather.com.
But
Yeah,
anyway, so
I was gonna say, if we, when we move out, let's make sure AC is a priority,
it is.
like a top priority.
So
um,
so yeah,
yeah, Vista currently 57 degrees outside.
yo, spicy.
Yo,
So we're in a nice cool area.
yeah,
For the first time in months. So we're having a nice time.
we
You
are.
woke up, I woke up, and I actually was like, it is freezing. I need to put like lounge pants or like sweatpants on or something.
No,
Like it's actually really cold.
no, literally this morning I woke up. I went to bed. I had my little My Hero Academia pants that I wore to recording one day. I slept in those. I woke up. I was like, it's so cold. I put my jacket on. It's like 8 a.m. Made some coffee. I'm like, you know what?
This is a
Good day. Today's a good day.
I know. I woke up. I made coffee too. Put it in the French press, just a little bit fancier.
Oh, French press.
And I'm
nice.
like, wow. If only this was every day.
If only.
So we have had a great day. We've had not to put the fan on or the AC on, and we've been able to record multiple videos.
Seriously.
And we're just fine. Instead
We're
of
doing good.
literally the finale of Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh god, that was one of our.
That was on par with Goblin Slayer's level of trapped in the room with heat, because with that one, it's a really small room that we record
Yes,
in.
we are not in a fancy studio. If you haven't noticed by now,
All of our incredible money with our tens of thousands of millions.
the kingdom, the mansion that we're in. One day,
We're in a small room that's running the computer, that's running the editing or the recording software, that's also running the PlayStation, that is just pumping out heat as the PlayStation is screaming in the background.
Yeah, you wonder why we don't do as many PlayStation games, and we want to. But that thing is loud, and it makes everything hotter.
Yeah, so it was like a cloud. Like, we literally walked out of the room after those two recording sessions, and it was like breathing fresh air for the first time in weeks.
I think literally
It felt like a sauna. Literally.
I think Jackie had come home, and like usually when Jackie comes, I give her a hug. I was like drenched. I was like, no, stay away from me.
Stay away.
I don't remember if that. Oh, there was one of our sessions where it was like, I literally brought a change of clothes with me just because I knew it was going to be hot and I would need to change. I don't know if it was that one, but I definitely did for one of our recordings.
It wasn't for that one. That one was Goblin Slayer was the one where it had been so bad. Like, it was probably the worst. It was so hot. It was so badly hot in general, but then being closed off in the room,
and then also having Eric in here as our
so
third person in
so
here.
We had 3 people with all of the computer stuff running while we're recording, no fans on, locked in a room that is already like 83 degrees, and that was rough. But after that, you were like, I'm gonna bring a change of clothes from now on, just in case. But yeah, today's surprising temperature has been.
It's been nice.
So we're vibing.
We are vibing. We're absolutely vibing. On top of that, it is, as of this recording, it's the final days of October. Spooky time. Happy Halloween. Maybe it's late. Happy late Halloween. Whatever it is.
Whenever you're watching this.
Whenever you're watching this, spooky time all the time.
That's right. And like most of our podcasts, they're not locked to any specific season.
Exactly.
So you can watch this during Christmas.
Yeah.
Let us know if you're unwrapping presents and you're hearing our dulcet tones in the background.
Are you celebrating Easter? Did the Easter bunny lay his eggs and you're getting the little candies in the eggs and you're listening to this? Let us know. Leave a comment.
Let us know if you've listened to one podcast for every day of Hanukkah.
Are you celebrating Memorial Day and celebrating your great grandfather's sacrifice for this nation of ours and listening to this podcast? Let us know in the comments.
But don't wear white after it.
Yeah, we'll fucking find you.
Yeah, we'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit. Who the fuck wears white after Labor Day?
Wow.
I don't even know what that why is that a bad thing?
Dude, you're looking at me. I don't know.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you can tell us why that's a bad thing.
I don't know. My dad was in the military. I don't remember him ever ever talking about anything about Memorial Day and wearing white or something.
Oh, Labor Day. I'm thinking white after Labor Day.
What's
I
up with
mixed-
Labor Day? Why is it worse for Labor Day?
No, there's no white after Memorial Day. It's
Okay.
white. Don't wear white after Labor Day. I have mixed up my holidays. Forgive me.
Wow.
Memorial Day, which is kind of funny. Like you.
So now I'm gonna wear a full-on white suit after Memorial Day, and
imagine,
I'll be fine.
Imagine Memorial Day, like you put on a white shirt and like someone just has like PTSD.
No, I was thinking like you wear a white shirt, you just get stoned in the street, just like, get it.
You're like, what did I do?
What did I do?
You know what you did.
Just get fucking beat in the streets.
Don't play stupid.
Just like, you know what you did. Fucking bullies like in school, like Jesus.
Oh my god. But no, it's white after Labor Day, which is also still confusing. I still don't know what that means.
Alright.
So let us know in the comments below if you know what it means, because I'm certainly not invested enough to look it up.
Me
It would
neither.
it would take me 2 seconds.
No, next Labor Day, we're gonna both wear white after Labor Day.
We're gonna test the
We're
odds.
gonna find out. It'll be this, there's like the Great Pumpkin or whatever. It's gonna be like the spirit of Labor Day is gonna come after us.
He's gonna have every color except white. He's gonna be like,
There they are.
there.
They smite us.
His mortal enemy is of the color white, which is the lack of color.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Anyways,
But we're not here to talk about that.
No more Labor Day. We
There,
can go
if you-
on shoe with you.
If you haven't left the video already, what's up?
Well, please come
Hi.
back. Please. No, please.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the topic. If you've seen the title and the thumbnail by now, I would hope you're at least curious, if not invested.
Yes.
Because this is a special little spooky topic.
Yes, this is to celebrate spooky season, but also because, as you may have realized, me and Chris are aficionados, connoisseurs of anime, the Japanese culture in general.
We are what they call
manga.
a weeboo.
Yes.
And as we've started at the heart of this podcast at the beginning, even though we've done a couple other off topics, at the heart of what we enjoy here at the Spiral Offcast and Core 4 Gaming, is anime and
manga. Yeah.
and so we love that shit. And so we, in the spirit of spooky season, but also just as a celebration in general,
Yes.
we wanted to give a little bit of focus to a name that has kind of gotten big in the recent times.
Yes, I found this author recently. I believe that it's only very recently I believe that he has started to get some attention over here, at least in the West, and it makes me very happy. His works are magnificent, to say the least. I have very much become an avid fan. This, of course, is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Junji Ito.
Woo!
Yeah, there we go.
Put a
Shout
comment.
out.
Put a comment below. What up, Junji Ito?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, and it's totally fine if you don't know. Again, I feel like maybe only recently has he started really getting some big
It
attention.
feels like he's kind of in a niche spot right now.
Like that's the thing is like, okay, because let me
Like out here specifically.
Because let me go ahead and explain. So Junji Ito is a manga writer, but not just any manga writer. He writes horror manga. So already it's like manga, which has been steadily on the rise over here in the West, but horror manga. His works really haven't had much adaptation. Other than one, which I wanted to talk about later, we'll save that one. But not having much adaptation, so it's been kind of like, I feel like he's been kind of niche. But recently I've started to see him more and more, and that's kind of actually how I found him. Is I started seeing certain works and whatnot being referenced. But basically, yeah. So he writes horror manga. He's got a lot of different works under his sleeve. He has a lot of different like short stories he's worked on, and then he has a couple of long running mangas, long running stories. And from what I understand, he's super duper popular out in Japan. And I'm really thankful that he's getting a little bit more attention over here.
Mm.
But yes, so I have become an avid fan. I wanted to talk about it because I know that you don't know him very well. I know you don't know the works very well, other than what I've talked about.
Yeah, 100%. I never knew who this was. In fact, I knew nothing. At all. I honestly don't know much of horror manga or horror anime in general.
Yeah,
Like I've
it's not a big popular subject of anime, really, is it?
like I know there's a lot of it. Like, and when I say a lot, I mean like at least like 10. Um I recently came across a top 10 horror anime list that you must watch, and I put that on my watch later list on YouTube because
Really?
I'm curious because I'm like how horror can anime get? And I'm like,
Yeah.
when you have something that you don't need actors, like physical actors for, or like a set, your creativity is really the sky.
Well, that's the beauty of animation.
Exactly. So
I
it's
just
like
don't feel like it's used too often for horror, at least.
exactly. It's like, you know how much fucked up shit you can create just by drawing it? Like you were like, if you create a horror movie, you still have to kind of play within the idea that these are human actors, they can't do, and they like, if you wanted somebody to like burst into a fucking alien, realistically you're like, okay, we gotta have the actor, then we gotta have the CG guy, then we gotta have the special effects guy. Whereas like with animation, you're just like,
You
I can
draw
just
them.
draw it happening and make it as fucking crazy as I want.
Now, obviously, it's not that easy. It's not just, oh, one man
No, no,
draws the whole thing.
no,
But
but I'm saying like the concept is possible.
yeah,
Like for a studio to do it in a like a cinematic way, that is way more of an undertaking, as far as like there's so many factors and limitations. That's the thing, is limitations.
right.
Like, people can't fly, but if you're trying to make a movie where people can fly, you gotta fucking have a lot of shit to work with to make it believable that these
Seriously.
people are flying. Whereas in an animation, you make them fly and you just draw it and animate it in a realistic way, and
It works.
it's like there we go.
That's
And
I was gonna say that's why like live action adaptations of animated things, especially anime, don't work 95% of the time because it's like you take away the whimsy of it. It doesn't work. It doesn't translate as well.
exactly, and then you get shit like Dragon Ball Evolution.
What's that? I don't know what that is. Wait, what's Dragon Ball Evolution?
I'm gonna
It
be
doesn't
honest.
sound it doesn't
After I said it out loud, I've forgotten what it means.
it doesn't sound like anything we should talk about here.
Yeah, it sounds dead.
Yeah, it is.
But no. So anyway, I think the most like creepy anime and manga in general was Madoka Magica. Um, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I it doesn't sound too familiar.
Uh, the reason I even found out about it, and I'll be quick because I don't want to like latch onto this for too long. It's not that big of a deal. So I got a loot crate back in the day. In it, it was Anime Crate, and I got a bunch of cool things. Like I got like a big pig eraser from Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh,
I forget the name of the character.
the little pig.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she was a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
So I got that. I got a manga for this like 4-person girl band. I've never actually read it, but I'm like, it came with it. I'm like, all right.
Sure, why not?
There was another manga that was in there that was like, that actually looks a lot cooler. I think it might have been Berserk. I don't know. I don't remember. But the one thing is, it came with a statue. And I'm a sucker for a statue,
Yeah.
clearly. My fucking room. But
Yes.
so it came with it, and it was Madoka Magica, the main character in the show. And I'm like, huh, this is a really like detailed statue. I'm kind of curious what this is from. So I looked it up, and it's an anime, and it's basically about this girl who is in high school, middle school, some shit like that. I forget what it is. It's been a while since I've seen it. a couple years. And what it is um, she gets visited by this some magical creature that can grant magical powers
Yeah.
and turn her into a magical girl, like kind of like a Sailor Moon kind of concept.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, the entire show is about the main character kind of proving that she can deserve those powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so you come across a couple other ones who have the powers. And it's like, oh, they're fighting like these evil like witches. Like witches I put in quotations because they're not like broomstick witches or like cackling shaman or anything like that.
Right.
They're like these really crazy looking imagery. I guess I'll show you a picture of it later.
Yeah.
Because it is really strange. But it's literally the first like 4 episodes. It feels like a kid's fucking anime. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm too old to be watching this. And then there was the episode that fucking turned and it got fucked up. And I'm like, oh god, this is not for kids. Like, it's not some Goblin Slayer level shit.
Yeah.
But what it was is the magical girl, the main girl. Spoilers, by the way. Fucking, if you're worried about getting spoiled for this anime that's been out forever. So what it is the main girl goes on a sort of like a job with this other magical girl that's been doing this for a while. So she's like really talented and she's like confident and everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're just gonna go kill this one witch who's been causing a lot of shit. And they're like, okay, cool. They're having a great time, and she's like super sweet and everything. And they start fighting the witch, and somehow the witch got the upper hand. And I'm like, huh?
Uh-oh.
And so because the main girl, I believe her name is Madoka. I'm pretty sure that's why it's called Madoka Magica. I didn't think about bringing up the anime. So, anyway, so Madoka, she sees this, she's like, what? And then, in a really just, catching you kind of off guard way, the witch just fucking kills this girl. Like nothing has happened in this show that has like been like death or bad or like messed up. They just straight up fucking have this thing like bite down on this girl and fucking kill her.
Oh my god.
And she fucking dies. And I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? And the main girl's like, she's like thrown off too, and they're just like, what the fuck do we do? And the fucking spirit that's been giving out all the powers and shit, she's basically just like, oh well, I guess she couldn't really handle it.
Oh well.
It's a dangerous world out there. Are you sure this is what you want? And it's just like, this thing is like literally brushing over the fact that she has like this shit fucking happened. And it just kind of showed that as like kiddish feeling as the show's intro episodes were, it had a darker tone the entire like planned.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was trying to, not like a gotcha thing, but like, you know, oh, you think it's all gonna be this, and then it's like, oh, not really.
Uh-oh.
It's not really like that.
Got-y.
But anyway, that was a couple minutes spent explaining that, so sorry if that was boring.
It's okay.
But that was the edit. That was the most like horror, and it's not even that horror.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
it was kind of like messed up because like it's the whole show isn't about violence and fighting and powers and fucking saving the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of just about existing. Like things are kind of just happening.
Right.
So the death was kind of very jarring because it's like, oh, that doesn't really fit with the rest of this. But yes, so you had come over one day, looping this back around to the original question.
Here we go. Spiral off.
Jesus. You had brought up Uzumaki.
Yes.
And I'm like, Naruto.
And I'm like, no.
You're like, a Naruto.
Naruto.
I'm like, yeah, Naruto's last name is Uzumaki. You're like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because I've never seen Naruto, but I'm not talking about that. I'm like, what? And then one thing I did know is that Uzumaki just means spiral.
Yes.
So when I'm like, it's not related, I'm like, spiral. What the fuck are you talking about? So that's what this show could have been called, the Uzumaki Offcast.
I know. And I mean, like, I will
But
say I've always have been like, oh, it would be kind of funny if we did something with Junji Ito. It's like, oh, the spiral. We've come full circle in the spiral now.
and here we are.
Here we are. We've done it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bah.
But yeah, you talked about Uzumaki, and I'm like, I don't know what that even is, and you're like, dude,
Dude.
this shit's like some twisted shit.
Well, okay.
And I'm like, okay, introduce me.
Okay. So, here's the thing. So, I mean, like, I guess I should say before we get even into Uzumaki, the thing with Junji Ito's works, like I said, a lot of his works are short stories, and he has a few different long-running ones. A lot of them, the way when I say they're horror manga, it's like, oh, okay, like what you mean, like ghosts or anything and whatnot. The stories, usually at least, have sort of this element of cosmic horror, like eldritch horror, and usually um it's in regards to like some sort of like all like higher or cosmic like power or something like that, something like chaos ensuing, and the main like protagonist or characters of the said story not really having any control, like things just happen. um and so the best example of it is Uzumaki. I should also note that I actually think it's kind of cool is that I have one of Junji Ito's art books, and Twisted Visions, by the way, that came out. I don't know how recent it came out, but it's out there. I'd recommend it. I almost brought it with me, but it's just like a whole art book of his.
Big fan, Danny is.
Big fan. But one of the things was one of his drawings actually was H.P. Lovecraft, who he has gone on record to say that's one of his inspirations for a lot of his stories. So if you like H.P. Lovecraft, like Cthulhu, like that whole like mythos and whatnot, it's a similar vibe with some of these stories, just in that there's a bunch of crazy stuff out there, and a lot of the stories, it's like stuff just happens, and our main characters, it's not necessarily that they can fight it or whatnot. They just have to survive.
We're kind of
and
just. It's kind
live.
of like an ant farm.
Kind of.
You're not really. You're kind of just watching them deal with everything that's happening.
Yeah. So basically that, yeah. But no, one of the best examples, and it's my personal favorite of his, is Uzumaki. And I'll go ahead. I've gone ahead. I brought some of my books, not all, some of my books of his. One of them being
these are big books.
these are one of them being Uzumaki. Big ass book. Because this is one of his long running ones. Like I said.
Yeah, that's a thick book. Like what was that? Like 2 inches?
Oh, I'd say like
Inch
maybe
and a half?
2.5, maybe 3.
That's a thick book, guys.
It is big. I was gonna see how many
Bravo.
chapters. We've got 19 chapters, including a lost chapter. But anyways, I was gonna say,
How many pages is that? Does it say?
yes, actually. Which, by the way, you guys can always get these books at like Barnes and Noble. That's where I get all of these hardcovers.
Look at that. Hard.
Let's see. If you include the well, I guess chapter 19 goes up over 600 pages for sure.
Hot damn.
And I mean, these are like, it's like comics, it's like manga, so it's not like a long read. It's not like paragraphs and paragraphs, but it's like,
I mean, you're still flipping through 600 pages.
it's beefy. Uh, but Uzumaki, essentially, the story with Uzumaki, it's so strange, and honestly, it's why I fell in love with him. Uzumaki basically centers on a small town in Japan. I was gonna check to see if the back said it. Oh yeah, Kurozucho?
Kurozu.
Kurozucho? A small fog-bound town on the coast of Japan. Um, Essentially just, um, basically, without spoiling, one thing leads to another, and the town becomes basically cursed with spirals. And what I mean by that is that spirals occur and just crazy things sort of happen, all have to do with spirals.
Hence the name Uzumaki,
Indeed.
meaning spiral.
Yes.
And our podcast called Spiral.
Exactly.
It's all coming together.
It's the spiral. It all circles back.
It all brings us together.
But it's crazy because it escalates through the chapter. So it escalates from the beginning where it starts off like there's like a family and whatnot, and there's like one guy who's kind of like going crazy, making like the spirals, doing things that I don't want to describe because I want you to one day read this and be like, what the fuck? He's doing things. And then the town ends up coming cursed, and then it goes to stuff like other people like going crazy because of the spirals. You have things happening like people's hair like going into spirals. You have it's fucking crazy.
Wait,
And
so it's things are literally like
becoming
you see a car and it starts like warping into a spiral.
it's not even that.
Like,
It's
as an
more like
example.
people wanting to be like spirals or like
That is like I'm trying to grasp because that's such like a
no,
weird
and
way
it's
to
a
phrase it.
fucking bizarre concept, honestly, and it's like
I mean, yeah, I guess that's why you couldn't really put it into words. It's like one of those things you have
it's
to see.
exactly, and it keeps escalating and escalating until finally it's like it gets to the point where like the town itself is like it like ends up turning into like a spiral.
Oh,
Like the
God.
buildings literally become like almost like a labyrinth that become like a fucking spiral. And we just are with these two like kids, like teenagers, and they're just like experiencing it. Like stuff happens to the girl, like the guy's just fucking trying to like get through it. It's insane.
Damn, Ito-san is fucking killing it.
No, for real. And it's like you have this whole thing, the scar chapter, which is actually the image of one of the most popular images from Uzumaki. It's if you ever seen it, Chris, maybe you can put it on the thumbnail. But it's the girl with the spiral in her like forehead. But basically,
we'll put it in the thumbnail.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, this is like one of the most popular images,
It's an
but
eye catcher.
basically, but it starts off with like a little scar, and it's like it comes a little spiral, and it grows and grows until what you see in this, and then it keeps growing.
Does it hurt?
Well, no, I mean, like, I don't think it does because she just kind of goes crazy, and then the spiral like engulfs herself. Yes, this is a very strange concept story.
I'm physically uncomfortable
No, 'cause-
imagining this happening.
So for those, obviously
Oh,
you can't see
God.
it, but I'm wearing I have a shirt with it, and Chris is looking at it right now. But yeah, no, this is just like part of it. This isn't like the final part of it.
I thought that was like an optical illusion.
No, this
like-
is what fucking happens to the kid.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
No, for real.
Oh my God, I'm like physically not okay with that.
Oh, dude, it fucking gets so much worse than that. That's just like one thing that happens.
And Danny's just like, oh no, that's fucked up. I bought 8 books.
Dude, honestly. But no, I honestly I always recommend Uzumaki just because it's like
It breaks you in.
it breaks you in, but at the same time it's just so bizarre and out there, and it's like if you like get into it and you're like, okay, like this is so strange but I can't stop reading, then it's like you kind of have an idea of what his other works are like. Now his other works aren't as like, not all of them are as like bizarre concept as those, but it's just that level of like, what is happening right now? Like these are just crazy concepts. These are weird things for like, just be in a story in general. Another one, and actually another one that I brought, it's another one of his long running ones. It's called Gyo. It's this one, Uzumaki, and then the other one of his long running ones, Tomie. Those three I consider to be his like unholy trinity, just because it's like they're the three like big long running ones and three of his like most popular ones. Gyo's a little bit less like weird, like crazy to think about, but it's still very much out there. Basically, it's like, best way I can say it, it's like uh fish with like, yes,
What?
so essentially what it's like is like, it actually takes place on Okinawa, where I was raised, which I was kind of like, oh shit, here we go. But
Amazing.
basically you have like a couple people, and we just kind of follow them, but there's like fish and whatnot that show up on shore, but they're on like mechanical legs.
What the fuck?
Yes, they're on like mechanical legs. This is, I'm showing him a colored image right now.
Like mechanical, like
S-
robot?
Somewhat.
They look like spider crab legs.
Yeah. So they're okay. So it's explained what exactly it's supposed to be. I'm not gonna spoil
Okay,
it,
got it.
but basically, yeah. So like the fish are like dead, and they're on these little guys, but they're like operating. Now, obviously, it doesn't just restrict to fish. We end up with like other creatures too, like sharks and whatnot, and
What
it
the
kind of
fuck?
it kind of becomes like almost like a monster story at a couple parts.
Like, did the shark, like, as an example, does the shark like eat a guy?
Yeah,
Like, is the is the fish parts like they function?
yeah. So it's weird. So they go on shore is the thing. So they are operating and whatnot, but they're still like alive. So yeah, there's a whole chapter where they're like fighting like a shark on these like legs and whatnot.
Fuck.
There's actually a whole thing where there's because it's sort of like how do I put this? And it's sort of like something's going on like in the air, because then people end up actually succumbing to something, and then you end up with people on these things, and it's like, I don't want to spoil it just because this is one of those ones where it's like I would have, like, if I keep going I would have to explain like what the leggy things are, and that's actually kind of integral to what is sort of like one of the,
This shit's like fucking crazy.
because, and you imagine there's like one guy, this dude just keeps writing this stuff.
This is like, you know what's the fucking cool idea? What if I fucking put a cat and put a helicopter inside it and had it fucking shoot fucking people? But then it's like they're not really cats. They're like fucking aliens that look like cats, and they're built into the, I don't know. Like the man's brain is incredible.
No, honestly.
Because the difference just between Gyo and fucking Uzumaki, just in that one concept, is so different.
Well, no,
And it's so crazy.
It-
It's so bizarre.
it's bizarre. The third one, I didn't bring it with me, but the third one, Tomie, that's his other, like, it's a super popular one actually. I think that one and Uzumaki are is like super two popular ones. That one centers on a girl that, and I haven't fully read Tomie. Tomie is actually the one that I was reading last. I've just been really busy, haven't been able to finish Tomie. But that one focuses in on a girl who essentially operates like a succubus. But basically there's multiple stories that focus on her, and she kind of like, surrounds herself with other people, other like men and whatnot, kind of fall for her. But then she ends up keeps getting like killed and whatnot. But then she keeps coming back.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a pretty simple concept, but I mean, like, from what I've seen, there's a lot of different like stuff and whatnot, like images and whatnot. I've seen that it's like, okay, this is very Junji Ito, and that it just goes all the way a lot more just unexplainable cosmic shit, and it's just like, what the fuck.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, and I mean that's the other like third one. It's like his ideas for stories are just so high concept and are just like, you don't know what to expect. The other one that I wanted, the other ones I wanted to highlight on were his short stories, because those are like his long running mangas. So if you're looking for more like a quick read, he has a vast amount of just like short stories. There's actually a few different books of his that are just short stories. I have with me Smashed. It's actually, what is it? It's like the one of like three books right now that are just like focused on collecting these like short stories and whatnot. With I think another one coming. The other one that I brought actually is his newest book. If you were to
Ooh.
look, this is Venus in the
New.
Blind Spot. I bought this today because I wanted to be like,
Wow.
hey, I have his newest one.
Guys, I got the book.
Yeah, I got the newest one.
I gotta say, that's a cool cover.
Isn't it cool? So it's
That is
it's
super.
it's like a girl in the eye and whatnot. I don't know the story because there is a story in this called Venus in the Blind Spot. I don't know what it's about. Um, but it's again, this is another collection. I do want to point out on the cover it says also by Junji Ito. It has a bunch of the different books. Out of the 8 books that it highlights, I have 6 of them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! I just need those other 2. I've seen the other 2.
You're the number one boy.
I am the number one fan. But anyways, as I was saying, the short stories. What's cool about the short stories is that although they are shorter than like the longer running ones, they are still very just strange concepts and like wacky, like bizarre stuff. One of his more popular ones is the Enigma of Amagara Fault. And essentially what this story is there's these people that travel towards this little like canyon and whatnot, to look at these holes in the canyon, and it's just like a whole like series of like weird shaped holes. And as the people go over there, they see that these holes are shaped like people, like they're people shaped holes. And the whole thing that there's a couple people that are like, oh yeah, you just have to like find your hole. It's almost like your calling and whatnot. And our main guy, he has like a dream where he ends up finding it. But he gets like stuck and he feels himself getting like stretched out and whatnot. And then he ends up like finding himself going in there. And then, yeah, you watch as he gets like distorted and like pulled out and everything. It's crazy, but it's also like, what the fuck am I reading right now?
I'm well, you were describing that, and I'm like visualizing it like I'm reading it, and I got really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not okay. I would put the book down. I'm like, I can't finish this right now.
And okay, but to be
Out
fair,
of respect.
because
It's like the man has done such a good job. That's why.
yeah.
It's like no, dude, it's too real right now.
And to be fair, it is
wow.
a short story, so it's like, if you finish it and you're already uncomfortable, guess what? The story's probably over.
It's over. It's dead.
Over.
He's over.
It's over. One of the other things that I do love, and this is about his short stories and just all of them, I love just the illustrations that he does with these, both in the really like strange shit and then also just in the normal stuff too. Like I'll show you just a couple like panels and whatnot. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like the line work. I'm trying to find a normal panel.
He's got a pretty crazy style.
It's a very like distinct style.
Yeah, I mean that in a good way.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is. Okay, I know what this one is. I just wanted to point out like the faces and whatnot. Like
They're
got like these.
so uncomfortable.
They are, but it's like the detail with like just the line work. Like especially this one. It's like just looking at like the lines on like this lady's head and like the darkness used to kind of like
emphasize the
teeth,
size
the
of
size
the
of the
mouth.
mouth. The look in the eyes, like you can see the eyes like rolled back and whatnot. But then even just in like the normal ones, it's like you got these little lines that show like the the shadows around the eyes and whatnot.
But I mean that also goes to show like drawing in just black and white is a talent unto itself, because you only have black to work with.
Yeah.
And so you are literally relying on the ability to draw shadows, lines, and shapes with just the black. So you're not filling in the white, and that's so seeing this guy's style just kind of it's really good.
And it's the thing is really like
good.
And that's one of the things is like I may have to send you a picture of this. I don't know if you want to like put it up or not. It's just so we can like what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can slap that one up on the screen right here.
Yeah,
that way you guys can all see.
You can kind of see.
I'll leave it up for a couple seconds in case you get scared, but it's okay. It's okay.
But
it won't be up there for too long.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing is like that's one of the things I absolutely love is that it makes such perfect use of it being black and white. I mean, most mangas are black and white and whatnot.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like that's why I find it such a a thing that is so talented is because you're not, if you have colors, you work with, the black lines, but then you have the color to bring out everything,
Yeah.
and you can convey different things with the colors. But being only black and white, um, it's trickier. If that makes sense.
It's trickier, but I think it almost works like in the style. Like I don't know, something about it. It reminds me very much of like the original like Twilight Zone. It's like why I prefer it like black and white. Like
Oh no,
something
with the horror kind of creepy stuff like this, the black and white just is,
it like
it
accents
complements
it
it.
complements it, and I think it works with uh you know Ito's work here. It's I don't know, and it's funny because even in the art book too, there's a lot of his artwork and whatnot that has color in it, and I appreciate the ones with the color, but I love the ones that are just black and white. Like if
Mm.
I could have like an image of his just just a black and white one like hanging up on a wall, I absolutely would. Like
Exactly.
something about it is just so beautiful, and how fucked up it might be or how
Mm.
disgusting or how just easy it is. Going
Well, I
back,
mean,
I'll bring back Uzumaki for a second. I'll find a more like decent picture and whatnot, but it's like
cause like on a, just on a side note with the black and white, it's like there's something to be appreciated of the black and white. Like I mean, of course, all the old movies, stuff like that, but like the specific example I guess would be like Akira Kurosawa.
yeah,
Like his films, it's like if you saw them in color, it's like they'd be good, but like them being in black and white, there was something about that, you know.
yeah.
Um, which is why I don't know if you had ever checked it out, but we talked about it too.
Oh,
The
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima's mode with
Oh
that, and
yeah,
it's like it changes it changes the tone, but it doesn't change the, what am I trying to say? Like
it
it
does.
it it gives it a different tone without taking anything away.
Right.
That makes sense.
And I mean, yeah. I'll show. I'm showing Chris another image, but this is from Uzumaki as well. This giant, just spiral cloud in the sky. Just looking at it, like it's just this black spiral and whatnot, and it's like it's black and white, but it's like you can tell what's meant to be like cloud or what it's meant to look like. I don't think this would have the same level of impact if you added color into something like this. You also have the people's like reactions and whatnot. You have details on like some of these like people's faces. Again, you got lines and whatnot around the eyes and whatnot. I don't feel like this would have the same level of impact if there was color implemented into this.
Yeah, because I think the color, it, like you could say, like color would add more detail, but the I think it's the emotional response to the imagery that the black and white drives.
Yeah.
It's the fact that like it is the black and white, the lack of color adds to the uncertainty of like the vibe coming off of how creepy this spiral in the sky, and everyone's like concerned shock expression, and it's like being without the color, it makes it feel more impactful.
Yeah. And that's like for all of the works too. It's I don't know, it's just like I love just the illustrations and artwork that this man has done like with these stories. It's like as weird and crazy as these stories are, it's like that like the narratives and the artwork go so like hand in hand.
Mm.
Like you can't have one without the other. Like I don't know, it's just like I'm gripped by the story, but I'm also just intrigued by the sheer like the illustrations and everything.
It's an attention grabber.
It is.
Like, I mean, any of his designs, if you take really any of his designs out of context, like it draws your eyes to it. You're like, what is that?
Like
You're just
literally.
like, what? Even if you're not disturbed by it, it's the fact it's so not extreme, but it's so uh unique.
Oh
It's so
yeah.
different. It's so uh it's so atypical. I think that's what the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That it does make you like double take or like look at it and you're like trying to like your brain's like trying to like put it together. Like what am I seeing?
Oh yeah, and I mean like
And
my Uzumaki shirt here, it's like, you know how many people have looked at this and they're like, "Oh, that's such a cool shirt." But then it's like you have no idea what the context
mm,
of this is or anything, but it's like the image alone, it's like this fucking like just crazy.
mm-hmm.
And that's honestly like a lot of his stuff. Like again, the art book and whatnot, when I read it, there were a lot of different images that are just like, what am I looking at? And now having read a lot more of his short stories, I am able to see where some of those come from. But it's like, my God, like just the images on their own, it's like just not knowing where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, like you could have like this like you just put like his frames of his art out of context in like a gallery
Yeah.
and you could look at them and be like
I would pay good money if he had like an art gallery. Oh my God, he might have one out in Japan or something. Honestly, let's be real.
because like his stories are impressive and his ideas and his concepts, but then like just the style and the weird creativity that this man is able to come up with.
It's bizarre.
it's
Absolutely bizarre creativity.
it's like a weird Picasso L like super it, there's really not a lot, I can't really come up with a word to describe it other than
Abnormal.
it's Junji Ito.
It is. And it's so funny because like if you watch any sort of like video with him, like him talking or anything, he is one of the most calm looking dudes I think I've ever seen. Like any sort of like interview with him or him talking about something. I just watched a video, it actually was promoting Venus in the Blind Spot. He actually did a video with Viz Media, I think, that was sort of like to promote, and so he did like a little preview of one of the short stories, and he's like all nice, and he's like, "Oh, I was sewing and whatnot. Like, let's take a look at this and whatnot." And he has such a like, I don't know, his vibe is just so like calm and relaxed. He actually reminds me a lot of one of my old best friends from high school. Just like he's got like the glasses on. He's just like calm. He doesn't look super like energetic, but his ideas and his stories are just like some most like fucked up shit and like just so bizarre and out there concepts I've ever read.
Like have you are you aware of the band Cradle of Filth?
No.
Okay. They are an incredible band.
Mm-hmm.
I could show you a photo of who they are. They, Eric and Jackie know them very well.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I bring it up is because you mentioned that. Oh my god, forgot how to spell cradle.
Cradle. Okay. R. I'm curious now because no, I haven't heard it.
Sorry,
It's a heck of a name though.
it is. They're like a very heavy metal group. Um, it's like these.
Oh. Whoa. All right. Ooh. Interesting.
And they have like a very distinct sound. It's very like guttural growling, like that really uh not screamo, but it's like the deep like I guess the way you describe it, I don't know if this is accurate to how the genre would describe it, but it's like a very bestial guttural growl
Yeah.
kind of singing.
Mm-hmm.
Um
They kind.
and sorry.
I was just gonna say they kind of look like if they were like going for like a Slipknot look, but we're keeping more like the makeup of something like Kiss, you know?
Yeah, I
Like
can
instead
see.
of you know how Slipknot had like the masks and whatnot, right? That's Slipknot, right?
Slipknot has the masks.
Yeah, if they were going for that, but it was more like makeup based, like Kiss. But no, I get what you mean, like the more like guttural, like um no, I get that. I can it's like I can visualize what you're talking about.
Yeah. Sorry. The reason I went down this entire fucking rabbit hole was specifically because, that's what he is in costume for his shows and everything.
Yeah.
But outside of that, because their music is very intense lyrically.
Yeah.
Outside of his music, he's very like calm and really cool, relaxed. He dresses super nice all the time. Like you would never really know he was in a band like that
Yeah.
if you didn't know who he was,
Right.
sort of thing. Because he doesn't come off like his voice doesn't sound like that normally. He sounds like a normal person, but his music voice is totally different. So the reason I do that is that's kind of reminding me like you're describing Junji Ito.
Yeah.
It's like he had like his art is so like crazy and bizarre, but he himself doesn't radiate that naturally all the time.
Right. It's just crazy. He's such a like calm person. The other thing that and this honestly may be like one of the craziest things about him. But you want to know like the other thing that he works on besides horror manga? He writes cat manga. Like he writes stories about his like cats that he has. And it's like I haven't read them just because I haven't had time, and obviously I have all these fucking short stories of his. But yeah, he like writes about his like cats and whatnot.
This man is living his dream.
He is.
He's like reading
And then,
his
like,
books, and he's like, man, what if I want to write a story about my cats now?
And like his illustrations look very much like they how they usually do, just the very detailed line work and whatnot. But it's just like holy crap, like this guy is like the horror manga king and also is just writing about his cats and like he's just like any interview you see with him, he's like just nice and calm demeanor. It's like oh my god, it's such a strange dynamic.
And are his cat mangas creepy too?
I haven't read them.
Ooh.
I have seen a couple of his little stories write about his pets. He actually did have one. I don't remember if it was in Smashed. Let me see if it was. No, it wasn't in this one that I have Smashed. But he wrote. Actually, was it in this one? He wrote about a dog that he had or something like that, like a family dog. Yeah, it's not in this one. And it was funny because it was like a couple stories and like it very much there was a little bit kind of like a humor to it almost. Just because like one of them was like um I forget how he described it, but it was it very much just felt like kind of like oh it's kind of funny like having a dog and whatnot, but then it ended with actually the dog having like being buried, like having died, kind of like buried by the.
Sad.
I know, I was like oh, but being buried like next to like a relative that I guess the dog was really close with or something like that. I wish I had it on me so I could show you what I mean by that because there was a little bit of humor. Like one of them was kind of like him like either going to pet it or something and then it growling or something. Oh. Like there's kind of a humor to it. It's a very like almost like a lightheartedness and it's just kind of funny.
So I think we should take a moment in the future to read one of his cat mangas.
Absolutely.
And then on a future Core 4 video, whether it's the Spiral Offcast or one of our gameplay videos.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Oh, for sure.
I think we should just look at it, and we'll just make it a surprise, wherever it shows up again.
Oh no, for sure.
So like stick around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I am curious on what this man is capable of
with his
in general.
Yeah.
But now it's like focused on like a cat, let alone like his own cat.
Yeah.
And it's like honestly, sir, I am interested.
Yes. Okay, so there's one tangent that I do, not a tangent, but there is a subject of his that I do want to go off of.
Of course.
First things first, though, I do want to do a couple shout outs for his stories. One of them in particular, actually, one of the things I didn't mention with his stories, his short stories in particular, he has a couple running characters, like certain characters that appear in multiple short stories, and they are the same character and everything. It's just like a couple of different adventures. One of them,
Wait, are these like in the same timeline, or are these like this is this character, but after these events, or
well,
before these
it's a
events?
little hard to tell sometimes.
Or is it kind of just like Scooby Doo, where it's like it's the same character, but in like, oh, he's in this situation now.
It's sometimes both. It just kind of depends. One of them, please tell me if I'm misspelling this wrong. Is it Soichi?
Yeah.
Is Soichi? So one of the one of the characters, his running character, is Soichi. Chris, I know you've seen the illustration of it. I will go ahead and pull it up just so you know who I'm talking about. But he is this like little like he's this like little boy character, and his thing that is in like all the stories is that he has nails in his mouth.
Oh yes, I know this from I had discovered the pop figure
Yes, the pop figure
of
that
this gentleman.
had come out. So he is one of Junji Ito's like running characters. Like he's in a few different short stories. He's in I have a couple of them here. He's in another one where it's like I actually don't even have it. It's where he's like going through the woods, like he has got like candles on his head, which is actually what that pop figure is the design based off of. But he's like a twisted little fucker. Like he's just like in this one, like there's literally it's two stories that go together where he like fantasizes like him being a lot older and then like enslaving his family in like a sideshow thing. It's yes, it is. It's very
Fuck?
yes, it's very much out there. There is another one where it's like he's like trying to like torture a cat or something that his family had gotten. Yes, it's very family friendly content here.
Good God, this guy is fucked up.
Yes.
So like, are the you don't have to spoil anything,
Yeah.
but are the nails like part of him,
I don't
or
know because it's
or is
like
it kind of just like how like a carpenter will just hold the nails in his mouth just because it's easier?
well, see, and that's the thing. I really don't know because it's like he just has them. Like literally, there's one panel, and this is in the same comic where he's fucking with a cat, where he scares when he has more nails in his mouth.
What the fuck?
So I don't know if it's like they just materialize in there. But then, as we can see in this panel, he then tries to shoot nails at the cat. So it's like, yeah. So it's like I don't know if it's like one of those things where it's just like he just materializes them or he just carries them in his mouth. Either way, he's a very fucked up little kid.
And I can almost appreciate Junji Ito for just not acknowledging it,
Yeah,
because it's just like you don't need to know.
there's another
It's
one.
not necessary for the story. for you to-
Exactly. There's another one where another one of his characters, I forget what his name is, but he's basically another like little boy. But his thing is like um there's like a whole like little series of little short stories with him where basically like he's like alone in his house, but his house almost like there's one it like opens a door to an alternate reality, and there's actually like an evil version of him and his parents and whatnot. It's bizarre, and then it's also like he ends up like um it like sort of like this doorway kind of like opens and there's all these like other things that kind of happen, and it's sort of like one of those examples where like the short stories end up having somewhat of a continuity, but it's also kind of like I guess like a Scooby-Doo thing where it's like sometimes it's like you don't acknowledge it. I don't know, it's just bizarre, but I wanted to give that one a shout out. um what else was I gonna do? Was there anything else from Smashed? um Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So, as far as the short stories, there's a few different books for the short stories. When I say what I'm referencing when I say Smashed is it's part of the Junji Ito story collection. There are three books currently. I think to my it looks like there's only three. I think there's a fourth one that'll eventually come out. I think I saw an Amazon listing for it somewhere. But you have Smashed, which is the one I have with me here. You also have Shiver, and then Frankenstein.
Oh.
And those 3 books are just collections of his short stories. The one exception is Frankenstein. He actually did a manga telling of the original Mary Shelley Frankenstein. And yeah, it's about as cool as you think it is. And then like short stories beyond that as well. But that one was really cool too. So those are like you can find those at like Barnes and Noble one. That's where I got all of these guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then again, the 3 big ones are Gyo, Tomie, and Uzumaki. But yeah, I just wanted to point those out because I keep saying like, oh, these short stories, and all that, but it's like you can find these in these like books, and then of course Venus in the Blind Spot as well. Okay, now I wanted to talk about this, because I had mentioned so adaptations. As I had mentioned earlier, there's not a lot, and that's one of the things I think with Junji Ito is that there's not a whole lot of adaptations for his work, or at least popular ones. So there's a couple though, as of right now. So, so I found out back, actually back like a good good 10, 20 years ago or whatnot, there was actually there was a live action adaptation of Uzumaki.
What?
It was in Japan. It was made in Japan and whatnot.
Yeah, but still.
I've seen some footage of it. The effects are about as like good as you would expect them to be. Especially like the 90s, maybe early 2000s. It's like, this looks kind of goofy.
Scoofy.
This is goofy. And then to my understanding, there was also an adaptation, I think it was several, of Tomie. If I read that correctly, there was actually a few different ones for Tomie. And that's actually how I think that Tomie was actually pretty popular over in Japan.
If it got multiple, yeah.
Yeah. But again, that was made in Japan. There was one animated adaptation of Gyo. Now it was weird because from what I understood, and this I hadn't watched it, but I watched the trailer for it. Now it was animated in full like color and whatnot. But one of the things that from what I read was that it actually did change certain parts of the story and whatnot. So I wasn't hearing like the best of things about it. Maybe that's something we can revisit another day.
Yeah.
But
because I mean that does happen with the visual. So I mean like it's the difference between anime and manga.
Yeah.
It's like some things in the animation they have to alter, or they choose like, oh, this is visually more interesting than if we did this moment.
Right.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I wanted to at least give that a mention. The one that I really wanted to talk about actually was it's the one really big anime adaptation for his works. You may have heard of it. It is the Junji Ito collection. This was a short-lived little anime series, and essentially what it was a bunch of Junji Ito's short stories adapted for animation, and actually put out there. Now,
oh wow.
here's the thing though. It wasn't very well received, and I had kind of seen clips of it, and I watched the first full episode. I may check out I probably will end up having to check out the other ones just out of sheer curiosity. But the thing is with that adaptation, it is in full color again, which is one of the things I think may have worked less in its favor. Because based off of the first episode actually was Soishi's story with like nailing stuff on the like in the woods and whatnot.
Interesting.
I don't know what it necessarily was because it wasn't just the addition of like color, but something about it. It might have been like the lack of like detail or something, but it very much lacked the intensity or like the almost like uneasiness I think of a lot of his works. And that's and just like the couple ones that I have seen, and then not just the first episode, but like clips I've seen of some of the other ones. I don't know, something about it just like felt off. And again, I may have to. If you're curious as well, it's like it's on Crunchyroll.
Oh well,
And
there we go.
the first episode I think is just on YouTube somewhere.
Hmm.
But something about it was just very like off, and it's like not only that, but it was like when I watched the first episode, the music felt very basic anime like background music. Like there was one point where they're just like kids like in school and whatnot, and the music is just very like boom 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 boom, like just very like normal ass like music, and it was like this feels very like standard, like for like anime and whatnot. So although I can't speak for the entire series, I will say that that one I know wasn't greatly received. And then just the few things I have seen, it's like, oh, this does not look great.
So, what you're saying is, our boy Junji Ito needs needs a good fucking series that is willing to respect his work and put it out in the quality that he does.
Yes, and that actually was going to bring me to my final one. The possible redemption for his work in anime adaptation. I don't know if you've known about it or if I may have mentioned it to you. Uzumaki is getting another adaptation.
Oh, wow.
This one being an animated adaptation, not another stupid live action one. Um, Now, what's funny is this is actually what brought Uzumaki even to my attention. Um, because
Crunchyroll?
what?
Crunchyroll?
No, so this is actually it's not on yet. It hasn't come out yet. It was supposed to come out this year, but thank you 2020. We're now getting it in 2021.
Ah,
It's gonna come out onto Adult Swim.
that's unexpected.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. I will show you just like a quick little image of it. Essentially, there hasn't been a whole lot other than this one little teaser for it, and then an interview with Junji Ito actually talking about it. Basically, if I can just pull this up real quick. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. This anime adaptation is actually going to be done all in black and white. I'm showing you an image. This is an image from the teaser.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Like, okay, I was before while you were making your recommendations on the short stories,
Yeah.
I was like I was thinking like, man, I really think if this ever got like an animation or a show, it would need to be black and white because it would be
Yes.
so perfect.
It would, and I think that was one of the things that maybe hurt the Junji Ito collection the most is that it's all in color, and it's like, oh my god. But no, so the Uzumaki teaser trailer, it shows the whole thing is gonna be in black and white, and it literally, I mean, like, I can show you the trailer after this. It like like the girl here that I'm showing you the image of the main girl, like she moves, like it's like it's actually what it's gonna end up looking like, and it actually looks fucking incredible. It's only a teaser and it doesn't show a whole lot,
Of course,
but
it's designed to give you faith in the animation.
yeah, but the what it shows, it's fucking incredible. The other thing that it does show is that again, like I said, the music was one of the things that bothered me when I was watching the Junji Ito collection. They for this Uzumaki adaptation, they actually got the I don't know if you ever watched it. They got the composer from the movie Hereditary
Oh
to do
god.
the music.
Jesus.
And if for those of you who have watched
Wow.
Hereditary, the music in that movie is out there. And in all honesty, there's a couple scenes in Uzumaki where it's like I could absolutely hear that score for Hereditary in that. So
I mean, you got like the sharp
the
violins.
sharp violins, the very like out there. The music that plays in the teaser is already like, oh god, what is this? Like
Like,
it's
wow.
yeah, so that's happening. I've been so excited for this adaptation of Uzumaki. Again, that's kind of what brought the whole thing to my attention. I was just very entranced by that teaser. And then I went and found the manga, and I just couldn't stop reading it. I literally was like, oh my god, there is so many things happening. It's so strange and out there. It's like I couldn't stop. So here we are now. Unfortunately, again, Uzumaki isn't coming out until 2021 just because of everything. But
That just means hopefully they just put more into the quality.
yeah, absolutely.
They got more time. They don't have to feel rushed for animation.
Yeah, absolutely. And when that comes out, like, yeah, I'm absolutely having like a viewing party for that. Like, that I'm so
Core 4 viewing party?
honestly, I'm so excited for that. But that's it as far as adaptations of his work. Obviously it's only like a couple, and really we only have one possibly really good one coming up. The others have been very like eh.
Yeah, but we gotta ease into it. You know, you
Yeah.
don't want to throw his whole things out there and then it doesn't work, and then it's like we've wasted all of it.
Exactly. But that's I wanted to bring that up just because it's like I think that because there hasn't been a lot of adaptations, maybe that's why it's not as big, but it's starting to get bigger. Hopefully we end up with more adaptations with sort of this effort that we're kind of seeing with Uzumaki, at least right now. Like just the animation, like the fact that it's going to look like the manga and everything. It's like I would love it if we got some of these other stories with that treatment.
Oh yeah, like change the world.
No, seriously, it would change the game, honestly.
Yeah, like cuz not okay, so not about the story. But you and I had recently read the latest Dragon Ball Super chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And so just because it happened to be recent, that like Dragon Ball in general, let alone like Super, it being in black and white does not matter.
Yeah.
Like you could color it and it more it's fitting, but it doesn't like the black and white doesn't do anything for the manga at all.
Yeah.
It's like it's black and white because it's manga. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Well, no, and it's funny. We're gonna get into My Hero Academia in the near future, but I was reading that, and I feel the same way. Is that, the black and white, the fact that it's in black and white doesn't necessarily like do anything for it. It's black and white because it's a manga.
Yeah, and it's like you still get the story and the characters and the art's really good.
Yeah.
And all these things. But for Junji Ito, the black and white like works in his favor.
It does.
It's like no, it's better like this.
It is. No, like literally, I will show you that teaser trailer for Uzumaki, and I'll show you maybe like a clip of like the Junji Ito collection. And it's like the difference is night and day. I don't know. It's so like I don't like just being like, oh, it's not good because they added color, but it's like something about it is like the style just works so much better in black and white. And maybe it is just because you can see like it need like that line work that the stories all just share is like it's so much better when it's on that black and white. You can see all the lines and all the work and whatnot. But
He's doing the good work.
he is,
And he's doing his work. Like
he is.
He's just kind of doing what he likes to do, and it happens to be fucking weird.
No, it's fucking
it's amazing
it's
weird.
fucking weird. It's fucked up. It's visceral, but also beautiful. I love him.
He has a
for his,
beautiful mind.
He does. It's amazing.
Shout out to you, Junji Ito.
Junji Ito, you are my man. I honestly I can't wait to keep reading more of his works. I mean, like I only recently became a fan, but it's like I feel like I've almost become obsessed. Like not to an unhealthy standard, but it's just like I just love these stories. They're so far and out there, and like Uzumaki, I literally was like almost hypnotized reading. Like I literally would. I was like, it got to the point where I was like, I bought the damn thing just because it was like I need to read it. And then it was funny because then my little brothers were like, "What is that?" And I had them read it, and they had the same reaction. They're like, "Oh my god! Like what is this?"
What is this?
But no, I love it. For anyone who's looking for like a recommendation as far as like what I recommend reading, if you're looking for more of a like a ease into it, like maybe like a short story or two, I recommend looking into the story collection. Any of the books, honestly, it's not like they're numbered or anything. A couple shout outs, I think. As far as like stories I would recommend, I would definitely recommend The Enigma of Amagara Fault. That's a super good one. I would recommend Smashed. That actually is a really interesting one as well. Very cosmic horror as well, and just that there's things that you can't explain it. Honestly. And then as far as like top recommendation, I would say Uzumaki. I think Uzumaki is just this beautiful blend of horror and cosmic horror. Just like things happen that you can't explain. And like you said, it's like an ant farm. We're just kind of watching them go through it, not really any power to them or anything. It's like, I think it's a beautiful blend of it, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so out there, and I can't remember the last time I read something that just gripped me in the weirdest and most uncomfortable way that I couldn't stop. But yeah, anyways, that's Junji Ito. I'm so happy to talk about every other stories and everything. I sound like a big nerd, but
You are a fucking nerd.
but
But then I'm a nerd.
yeah.
We're nerds. We're all nerds.
Yeah. But I mean, was there anything that you wanted to add? I know that you don't know these stories and everything, but having witnessed me talk and everything.
I know you don't know them Lord, as much as I do.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, but it's okay. No, I'm just fascinated in general. Like, I guess for weird, like this kind of these kind of situations that get like, I guess, graphic.
Yeah.
It's very easy for me to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can power through this one. Uh, and I'm not comparing it, but that's the reason why I just couldn't go past episode 1 of Goblin Slayer.
Oh well, yeah, Goblin Slayer's a
But
whole
that's why I mean
different.
it's
Yeah.
not. I'm not comparing that because that is. I'm not putting Junji Ito on the same level as Goblin Slayer. I'm just saying like the visceral intensity,
Yeah.
and Junji Ito definitely has that.
Yeah.
While it's not, from what I can tell, uh like violent for the sake of violent.
Yeah, it's
There's probably is some violence, and there's some pretty messed up shit, probably a lot.
there is, and I mean, like I'm thinking Uzumaki. It's like there is violence, and there definitely is some visceral stuff, but it's not. It's not like gratuitous, or it's not like, you know how like Goblin Slayer kind of goes about it. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it's so strange, and like I don't know how to explain it, because yes, there.
I mean, how would like that's this. I mean, that's this dude's style.
Yeah,
Is like there's no
like it's
I don't-
horror, but it's not like any other horror you've seen.
because it's horror in the fact that it is a horror to look at. Like it's not
It's like it's unsettling. It makes you uneasy, but it's also
Yeah.
like,
not horror in the way of like slasher or something's out to like kill a bunch of people,
no.
or alien type like horror, like the Alien movies, and horror like the Conjuring series where there's like a demon or a ghost
Yeah,
or something like spooking about and like hurting everybody, or possibly, or whatever the heck.
yeah,
It's like this is horror in I guess the more classic sense, actually,
yeah,
of like it's creepy and unsettling, and sometimes it's probably hard to look at, and it's weird, and he's successful at it.
Oh, he's very successful at it. Masterful.
And like, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I am. I commend him and his artwork and his team.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes. Good job, my man.
Number one fan Danny over here.
Hell yeah.
Bought all your books.
Yes. I didn't bring them all. I can't just bring my whole stack.
Brings them everywhere. Leaves them in his car.
Oh, yeah.
He always has them at any time.
Have you read The Good Word?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about him.
Yeah,
I love the works. Absolutely recommend. 10 out of 10.
Heck yeah. And you already slapped some good ones for those that are looking to start with Junji Ito, or if you're interested in that kind of manga theme.
Yeah, or if you just want to see the artwork, Twisted Visions is that art book that I mentioned of his. Please, if you're looking for just the artwork, take a look at that, because the artwork is so rich and good.
It's coming from this man's brain.
Yes.
Of just pure raw creativity, honestly.
Honestly.
Like,
it doesn't get much more creative than that.
I mean, like, I think that's why uzumaki is such a tricky concept, because you're just like, everything's turning into spirals, and it's like there's not a lot of information in that kind of description, but it's like that's why it is so unique, because it's like, no, everything spirals. What do you mean? Everything is just turning into spirals, and you're like, what does that mean?
And that's, yeah.
And then the way he's doing it is like, no, it is that. It's not much more complicated than that. It is that concept, but it's the way he's presenting it and the way it's all happening. It's like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is unsettling. This is weird. But it's like, it's cool, and I can totally respect that.
Oh, yeah.
And Adult Swim clearly recognizes something there.
Seriously, that adaptation, oh my god, if that adaptation isn't good, I'm gonna be so upset. Like, just the little teaser we got, like, oh, it looks so good.
And I'll give the man the respect his work deserves.
Seriously, please redeem it. Please redeem this work.
Yes, and after this cast, Danny and I, we're gonna watch that little teaser, and
we're gonna watch that teaser.
We're gonna have that knowledge.
I'll show you a couple other stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about this in a future video.
Oh yeah. Well, now we made a promise. We got to visit his cat diaries.
I know.
That I'm like genuinely excited for.
That's gonna be the Core 4 scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Go find out what video that's part of.
Oh boy.
You'll never know, because we don't even know.
Unless it's just so rich, we got to do a whole podcast about it.
A podcast.
Cats.
Junji Ito, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, please. Please, I'm your biggest fan.
I love your cat. He's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this about wraps up our cast for today.
Yes, and you guys at home go and wrap up wherever you are if it's cold.
Yeah, it's nice and chilly. Happy autumn. Chill up, grab a nice book, get a nice cup of coffee, enjoy your day. Or if it's night, curl up in bed. Have a good night.
Have a cup of hot cocoa.
Is it the afternoon? Are you in the workplace? Well, then you curl up in your office chair. It's fine. Everyone does it every once in a while.
Yeah, just a few more hours till you're off work. It's okay.
Yeah.
Look, you're either on lunch, before lunch, or after lunch, and at any point at one of those three, you are closer to going back home. So just look at that as, you're doing it, you did it, and you're going to do it.
You did it.
You're almost out.
You're almost there. And if it's your day off today, enjoy it. You earned it.
And thank you for listening to this on your day off.
Yeah, that means a lot.
It's your day off. You do what you want to do, and you chose to do this.
Yeah.
So, I'm I'm
Thank
kind
you
of
for your service.
thank you for your service. Why did you decide to do this out of all the things you could have done?
Let us know in the comments.
Yes, and it is most yeah, we love it. Good job.
Yeah. Make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, ding ding ding, ring the dinner bell. Tonight's dinner, we didn't say what the dinner was for last episode.
Oh well, that's okay.
It's
What
fine.
what was the last dinner?
Oh well, you go watch the episode and find out. Why don't you? But just
Why don't you?
Why don't you go find out? But the hint, it was circus food. It was carnival clown fun food.
Oh yes.
Yes, and tonight's was a nice warm heaping helping of spiral stew.
No,
Nothing but spiral. Join the spiral.
no, it's the uzumaki. It's the little spiral a white noodly boy that goes on top of your ramen.
Oh,
Yeah, when you get the little pork slices on there, and they put the seaweed, and they put that little white spiky boy with the pink spiral on it. Yeah, that boy's called it's an uzumaki. Put some uzumaki on there.
I'm gonna be fucking scared if I ever see that shit and be like, get the fuck away from me.
Would you like some uzumaki, sir?
I legit,
And you're like, no thanks, I have all of them.
No, yeah, right?
I have all of his books.
But yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Please take care, and we will see you next time.
Yes, stick around.
See
Happy October.
Happy November,
Happy December.
January,
February.
April,
March.
May, June, July, August, September, all year round. Happy
October, back around.
back at it again with the see you next time. Take care.
We came a whole 12 months just
We did
now.
it. We spiraled back.
We did. We spun it around. Uzumaki.
There we go. All
Yo.
right. We'll see you next time, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.